Facebook gaming versus Twitch versus YouTube gaming. Which platform is out ahead right now? Which one has the best odds for you to succeed as a gaming live streamer? What we're going to be looking at today is the most fresh data on all three of these platforms in terms of how large is the viewership, how many channels are you competing against, and then you can look at the ratio of how many viewers there are versus how many channels there are, so you can start to make the best decisions possible on where you have the best opportunity to grow. There are now over 10 million live streamers out there on Twitch alone, and Facebook gaming just busted through the 1 billion hours watched mark. It was half that about a year ago. The streaming industry is exploding with growth right now, and it's time for you to get on board if you want to do this thing full time. You ready? All right, here is the Streamlabs quarterly report. It is my favorite report that comes out every single year or every single quarter. And what it's going to do is tell us all about which platforms are growing, which ones are dying. And this one's particularly interesting because Mixer shut down. And so where did all of those 4 million streamers go? We're going to see all of those insights right now in the report. So first things first, this is a huge thing you should be paying attention to. It's total hours watched on all of these different platforms. As you can see, Twitch is still the king of total hours watched. 63% of the eyeballs out there are on Twitch right now. Facebook is at 14% and YouTube gaming is at 22%. Now, in comparison to last quarter with these numbers, this portion of the pie that Facebook has and YouTube has increased significantly. And if this trend continues with hours watched, the viewership on all of these platforms, Facebook and YouTube combined are going to take more than half of the pie moving forward with total viewership across all streaming platforms. That's something to take note of. And that's a big reason why being on all of these platforms at the same time makes a lot of sense, and why being on Facebook and YouTube makes a lot of sense, because YouTube in particular and Facebook are actually growing in terms of their market share quarter over quarter, whereas Twitch's market share is actually shrinking in comparison to those two platforms. But don't make any conclusion on which one's best yet just because Twitch has a bigger piece of the pie because it's purple. Because look at the hours streamed by comparison. As you can see, Twitch is taking up 91% of the pie here with hours streamed, which is preposterous, even though only 63% of the hours watched are happening. So what that means is there's a lot more effort, if you will, being put into streams on Twitch, but the viewership isn't coming out of the other side. You see how that works out? 91% of the hours streamed, the effort from streamers is being put into Twitch, but only 63% of the viewership is happening on Twitch, which means there's a disparity between people streaming on Twitch and actually getting results. People struggle to grow on Twitch. I'm sure you guys have experienced the same, but in terms of hours streamed, it's absolutely crazy how only 3% of the hours streamed out there is on Facebook right now. Only 5% is on YouTube and 91% is on Twitch. So what that means is that there's a lot less competition just in terms of the amount of content you have to punch through if you want to break out as a streamer on Facebook and on YouTube. Whereas on Twitch, you're having to punch through an insane amount of content just to be noticed on that platform. Not to mention Twitch doesn't even have a growth algorithm, a search and discovery algorithm that can help you break through. Look, there's even more to the story. It's totally insane. When you look at these next numbers, look at this. This is the total number of unique channels on all of these platforms. It's totally preposterous. So if you look at the numbers over here on the side, Twitch has 10 million channels on it right now. It was below 10 million last quarter. It now crested over to 10.5 million. So you're wondering, where did all those Mixer streamers go? They went to Twitch primarily, but a lot of them actually went to YouTube. YouTube, 900,000 streamers there now, and Facebook only has 267,000 streamers. So Mixer had 4 million streamers on it when Mixer died. RIP Mixer. I'm sorry, all you Mixer refugees out there that lost your home, but did all those streamers flood over to Facebook gaming? No. Here is the proof. People think that Facebook gaming bought Mixer. They did not buy Mixer, because look at how much of the pie Facebook gaming has right now in terms of streamers. They only picked up just a few streamers, and YouTube only picked up a few streamers, and Twitch still has 90% of the streamers right now. But remember, we're comparing, it's all about supply and demand. Twitch only has 63% of the viewership. So if Twitch has 90% of the talent, but only 63% of the viewership, that means that the talent that's on Twitch is not getting that much results. Really quick, let's talk about this concept, the concept of supply and demand. All right. So I talk about this all the time and I want to grind it into your head. You want to be where there is a low supply of content. You want to be where there is a low supply of channels. You want to be streaming games and you want to be covering games where there's a lot less competition, while at the same time, there is high viewership, there's high search demand, there is high demand on each of these platforms, and hopefully an algorithm to help you be discovered. Drop the link in chat right now. If you want to have a one-on-one coaching session with me, you can do that. I'll drop it in chat. It's awalldigital.com. You can just schedule one-on-one coaching by clicking the button here or using my scheduler tool. I've just opened it wide open. You can select your day, you can select your time, and you just literally enter your name, email, and the challenges you're having as a streamer and what you want to accomplish, and you pay, and I'm booked, and I'm on a one-on-one video call with you if that's interesting to you. But let's take a look at YouTube. Now, this is a chart that's looking sexy. This is YouTube Gaming's hours watched over time. And in 2018, they were at about 500 million hours watched, but today it's at 1.6 billion. So as you can see, YouTube Gaming's viewership has been on a more or less 45-degree angle growth curve over time. There was a bit of a dip here in 2019, which makes YouTube a little bit more variable. And as you can see, when the coronavirus hit, YouTube Gaming has increased by about 70% in terms of the amount of hours watched, which is absolutely insane. That is great growth. This is a chart that looks a lot healthier than Twitch's chart in terms of growth. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the numbers here for YouTube Gaming, the number of hours streamed. So as you can see, this chart is totally crazy. It's up, it's down, it's all over the place. What does this mean? This means that streamers haven't really trusted YouTube over time. About in 2018, there were 14 million hours streamed. Then it jumped up to about 16 million toward the middle of 2019. Then it plummeted once Shroud and once Ninja went over to Mixer, and a ton of YouTube streamers went over to Mixer, as you can see. Interest in YouTube streaming died. However, as we moved into the coronavirus, interest went back up to highs from the previous times. But now look into Q3, YouTube's streaming hours went down. So the supply of streaming hours from streamers just keeps going up and up and up and up and down and up and down and up and down. It's a really volatile environment for streamers. As you can see, there's freaking arrows all over the place on this chart. So streamers don't have a lot of trust for YouTube, and that trust moves in and out as YouTube shifts the algorithm. Sometimes they turn the algorithm on, sometimes they turn the algorithm off for streams, and it makes things really variable for YouTube exclusive streamers, which is a big reason why you guys should fully consider restreaming to all of these platforms at the same time. Okay, Restream sponsors this stream, and if you guys want 30% off Restream, I'll drop the link in chat right now. Check it out, 30% off. You should be streaming to all three of these platforms to maximize your growth across YouTube Gaming, Facebook Gaming, and Twitch, okay? Let's take a look at the rest of YouTube Gaming's numbers. Look at the number of unique channels. So at the end of 2018, there were 1.9 million channels on YouTube Gaming. I know my camera's blocking it, sorry. I'll just tell you, 1.9 million. Then it jumped to about 2 million. But then look at the ultra dive that the numbers took on YouTube Gaming. Over 1.3 million streamers left YouTube Gaming when they saw Ninja, they saw Shroud, and they saw the whole gang move over to Mixer. And they dropped below 1 million streamers on YouTube, down to 800,000. But then once coronavirus hit, the number jumped up to about 1 million again and went down to 900,000. So what does that mean? That means that the amount of competition on YouTube today is half the competition it used to be about 1.5 years ago. But if you look at the amount of viewership, if we scroll up here, the amount of viewership on the platform is 3 times what it was 1.5 years ago. So let's just quickly recap that, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Competition on YouTube decreased half. 50% of the competition that you guys had to punch through to break through on YouTube is gone from 1.5 years ago. But viewership on YouTube has tripled during that same period of time. Supply and demand. Supply went down by half, demand went up by 300%. That is very, very good for YouTube streamers. Okay, so if you're going to be streaming on YouTube, the numbers are in your favor right now. Okay, supply and demand. Cool. I want you guys to understand these concepts, because you shouldn't just be watching my videos to understand the numbers. You should be looking at them yourself. You should be doing your own analysis. You should be really analytically looking at how you approach being a full-time live streamer and a full-time YouTuber and somebody who wants to be full-time in the gaming industry. You have to think like this. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. And because I think like this, I've been able to help a lot of people succeed through coaching and education and what have you. But you need to learn how to do these sort of calculations yourself if you really want to break out and be a success in the long term, not just today, but for your entire career. You have decades of career as a gaming creator in front of you. You have to think about it like that. So understanding these strategic concepts is critical if you really want to make this your living, a full-time living, right? Okay, let's get back into the numbers, because here's the really interesting bit with YouTube gaming. All right, so what I like to look at with all of these platforms is the total CCV. So that's the average concurrent viewers on the platform at any given time. This is the total size of the pie that's available for you guys at any given time, so that you guys can maybe get some concurrent viewers. That's what you're trying to get, right? Check this out. So YouTube, about a year and a half ago, was only getting 270,000 concurrent viewers on their platform. This is when I helped launch YouTube gaming in partnership with Google. It stayed at about 300,000 for about a year. But then once coronavirus hit, it climbed up to 600,000 and now cresting over 750,000. So viewership increased significantly during that period of time. So as you can see, there is currently hockey stick growth in terms of the average concurrent viewers on YouTube at any given time. So this is good for streamers. You want demand to go up. But here is the ultimate comparison that you need to make. Even though demand is going up, 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 how many people do you have to compete with? Let's quickly do the numbers. Right now on YouTube, there are about 1 million streamers active each and every quarter, okay? As you can see behind me on this side, at any given moment, there are about 758,000, there are precisely 758,000 viewers on average watching live streams, gaming live streams on the platform at any moment. So your ratio of channel streaming to viewers on the platform is closer to 1-to-1. It's closer to 1-to-1, but it's less than 1. So there's less than 1 viewer per streamer on YouTube. So are those odds good? They're okay, but they're certainly way better than Twitch. Remember when we talked about Twitch a moment ago? Twitch's numbers, there was 1/5 of a viewer per channel on there. So 5 channels on Twitch had to compete for 1 viewer. On YouTube, it's close to, but not quite there, where only 1 channel has to compete for 1 viewer. So it's almost a 1-to-1 channel to viewer ratio on YouTube. So roughly speaking, just looking at the numbers, your odds of growing on YouTube versus Twitch, just by the numbers, supply and demand, is 5 times better on YouTube than it is on Twitch. That's on top of there actually being the YouTube algorithm, which is the best suggestion algorithm on planet Earth to suggest your videos and your content, whereas Twitch has no suggestion algorithm. Okay, that's just by the numbers. But wait, there's a third platform. Before we can conclude which platform is best, we gotta look at Facebook gaming.